There's a special kind of pain that comes from copying 100 anatomy drawings and still drawing hands like wet spaghetti. So let's talk about some ways I find to be the best when studying art, based entirely on my lifetime of learning it the hardest way possible. So I believe in order to have consistent, successful study sessions where you feel confident with your progression, and not just sessions where you wonder if that even did anything at all, and yes, this is possible, you first have to be aware of the study pit. This little bastard is a joy-sucking void that keeps you doing the sucky part of art forever. It's a very common place we've all been in, wanting nothing more than to make really appealing paintings of women sitting in cool chairs, but we stop ourselves from even attempting this because we feel we aren't ready or don't know enough fundamentals to be able to pull it off. So our study loop becomes one that is built on doubt and hesitancy, rather than trust and curiosity. So how do we finally break free of the pit? Or better yet, how do we avoid falling into it in the first place? The rope that pulled me out of the pit was making every study session secondary to illustration and personal work. If you're new, burnt out, or even experienced in feeling stuck, before anything else, start by drawing the stuff you're obsessed with, and the kind of work that made you want to get better at art to begin with. Mechs, anime, Rouge the Bat, women with wing hats, whatever your dream works are. Who gives a fish if it doesn't look pretty yet? It will. The important thing here is to establish a good relationship with art and keep coming back to these things so you don't get lost in the hard to wash off sauce that is studying. Because studying is uncomfortable. If it sucks, you are doing it right. If it hurts, you are doing it wrong. Not all study sessions are bad or should be bad though. It really is like eating your vegetables. It's a big gamble like a bag of baby carrots. Some of them are sweet, nutritious treats, but sometimes you get that one bitter fuck stick that tastes like it came straight out of the bog of eternal stench. Which is why the study pit is so volatile, because even if you are having good sessions, it still isn't as rewarding because you aren't applying them to something you truly care about. Unless of course what you care about is studying, then right on. But by working backwards, your reasoning for studying becomes very clear. It is driven by purpose, and this alone naturally makes every study session much more efficient, constructive, and valuable. My exact study formula looks something like this. Create, struggle, study, apply, loop, and repeat. I let the projects I love reveal the weak points, then target my studies accordingly thereafter. If you are moving with purpose during every step, this will give you the confidence to go deeper into any fundamentals with curiosity as the driving point rather than necessity. So let's illustrate this all a lot deeper by diving into the first point being the personal project. Using my most recent painting as an example, I noticed I had a really hard time with the face and the feet. At first glance, you probably won't suspect that I actually have not studied face or feet extensively, and while it may not outwardly show here, in the finished piece, internally there was a lot of struggle. I redrew the foot 4 times and still hated it, and this face would have been very wonky if it weren't for the liquify tool, which is a great tool and should be used and celebrated, not frowned upon, but I want to aim to make a good face and use liquify to enhance it, not to use liquify to save it, you know what I mean? So, by acknowledging my weak head game, I now had a clear goal of what to focus on for this week's study session. As you gain more experience, these struggle points will become easier to hide. Though in order to always be progressing, taking a moment to get very real with yourself about where you're struggling is key. As a beginner, there will be a lot of things to improve on, which is cool because you have the freedom to basically start any place you like. That said, you always kind of maintain that freedom because if you think I studied feet at all this month, you'd be dead wrong. Anyway, after pinpointing our weak spots, here's where I dive deeper into the actual weekly study routines that were curated from analyzing said weak points. Based on the data gathered from the painting or personal project, in this case I realized specifically the parts of the head I was very unfamiliar with were the planes of the face and how the head is actually shaped, like specifically the top and the back. So with these specifics narrowed down and in mind, every day for an entire week, I would set a timer for 1 hour and draw 2-minute head gestures. These were not mindless, however. The intention behind each one of these studies was to become really familiar with what I was struggling on. This is also where looking at how a lot of other artists who have already solved this problem becomes very useful. Important thing to note as well, the 2-minute head gestures is not how I would study every fundamental. Some parts like anatomy I would study with much more depth and a much larger time limit. And I covered anatomy specifically in my 6-month anatomy video, which you can find below. The reason why I chose 2 minutes for this one was it was just enough time for me to get familiar with the plane changes and head construction, which was the main focus. That's cool and all, but what about for a beginner? What really determines a good study session, and how can I build one that's appropriate to my level? For me personally, what I think makes a good study session good is simply learning something from it, and I feel like that's best done through isolated application first. Like trying to figure it out yourself, then looking at how other artists who already have the answers have solved it. During one of my weekly study streams, a patron mentioned the artist Steve Houston to me, and to look at how he constructs the shape of the head. This one instance led to a big revelation that helped me reliably draw convincing heads. Once I had the reliability down, it was just a matter of doing it over and over to solidify it. Just like with skateboarding or something like that, when you land a new trick for the first time, you do have it, but it takes a lot of repetition to have it every single time. So I really think once you reach the point where all it takes to build confident familiarity is repetition, that's how you know you had a really good study session. If you have never felt that yet, it's completely normal and okay. It takes a lot of experimenting and also a lot of curiosity and faith that what you are doing will lead to a desired result. So how can you as an artist of any skill level build a routine or system that will give you these revelations consistently? As covered in the very beginning of this video, I would also prioritize and practice what you want to do with your art life first and foremost. Use that as your compass to guide your studies. Your studies are only meant to be the kindling you use to ignite the inferno that is your artistic goals and desires. But for a physically actionable routine that you can try out right now, it would be this. I'm literally shouting out the 6-month gesture routine every single video, sorry, but it do be good though. 61-minute gestures every day for 6 months gives you habit, accountability, and direction if you are directionless. The cool thing is, you don't even have to try on this routine. Because it is long form, you will end up automatically finding yourself to be caring about it as the days progress, which is what actually leads to results. But here specifically, it gives you quite possibly the strongest foundation to then begin to build other fundamentals on top of. So I would implement this as your background passive ability and then work on completing the work that excites you first and foremost. The gestures will give you a confidence boost to be able to approach those dogs that have a bigger bark than bite that is anatomy, gestures, color, perspective, whatever. So for the new artist looking to improve as fast as possible, personal project first, plus the gesture routine, then work on whatever fundamentals you would like to pursue that would elevate your personal projects whenever you feel ready to do so. I also really stand by listening to your own intuition. If you give this a shot and it feels wonky and not for you, then that's perfectly okay. Know that the right routine exists for you right now, and it is just as eager to meet you and be a part of your life as you are to have it a part of yours. So draw some Sonic OCs. But yeah, don't wait until you're ready. Make something now and let that guide your next study session. If you want support, I have a large art community that you can join right now over on Discord. There's so much to do here and so many artists of all skill levels doing it together. The link in the description will be down below, and if you want to connect more directly with me, you can have access to a private art server focused on study routines, and I'm building it centered around facilitating artistic growth and camaraderie for those looking to form and develop personalized study groups. For a limited time, I'm offering a free trial for Cinder Tier members so you can check out the space for yourself and see if it's something you'd be into or if it's like a good fit. Which leads us now on to announcing the winners for the May monthly art challenge. This one was all about the world of H.P. Lovecraft. It could be a reimagining of a classic creature like Cthulhu, your own twisted monster, a haunted setting or environment, just anything soaked in cosmic dread pretty much. In first place we have LYNX coming in hot with this awesome and creepy liminal piece. I really love the green color and all the texture, plus the shadow beast crawling all over these cold and empty walls. I also really like that harsh diagonal cut, like that shadow line above the top of the house. I think that's really neat. In second place we have GORNY, and this one gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's a seriously creepy piece. Space freaks me the hell out, and especially large skulls like peeking over things that they shouldn't be peeking over. Compositionally this is very interesting too, well done. And in third place we have Martin with this trippy piece. It reminds me of like a Lost Media Adventure Time episode or something like that. And I just love how everything here pulls you into the center of the canvas like you're being sucked into the wormhole or something. Incredible work, everyone. So yeah, thank you all who participated in last month's challenge. I know I am lagging and getting these out a bit, but that does it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to all the Cinder and Hellfire Patreon members. Without you and everyone else still watching this video, it would be butts. Hopefully I'll be able to get these videos out a little bit more consistently. The summer months are usually a lot busier for me. With that being said, I'll put out a poll for the next video idea within the next couple of days, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks again so much, everybody. 1 step back, 2 steps forwards. See ya.